What's up, guys? What's going on? It is another episode of the Kicks and Shit Show. It's your boy Jarod, your girl Gabby. First of all, what is that? What are you doing over there?
I was getting ready for your into it, and here I am raising the roof to fucking silence.
Because all of a sudden, I'm like, what is happening over there? But as I said, it is in fact episode 29. See, you see?
There we go.
That was so lackluster. You weren't even into that one.
I used my energy on the first one because I was ready.
Got it.
Should we do it again? Ready? 1,
I
2, 3.
So what you're saying is I took the wind out of your sails on that first one when I came right in being like, what are you doing? What's happening over there? I took the wind out of your sails.
Which got me a little off guard,
Gabby, what's going on in those streets?
Well, Jarod, I'm so glad that you asked. There's a lot of traffic going on in these streets. So
well, literally in the streets.
in the streets, lots of traffic. Fall is officially over, apparently. It's been rainy and cold.
Which is actually interesting. Back up real quick. Traffic in the shocking. Where's everybody going? What's happening? Why is there so much traffic?
I don't know. I actually don't even think people are really going anywhere. I think that people are obviously going anywhere, but hear me out.
People are going anywhere.
I think that everywhere has decided, maybe we should have been doing construction this entire time, and now everything, at least by me, every road that should have been repaired in the past 8 months of COVID
is now being repaired.
They're like, oh shit, winter is coming. Even though there's no Game of Thrones, we must have forgotten the reminder this year. So now we're doing all of everything. And between that and the streeteries, see what I did there? Hoboken actually calls them streeteries. I do not get credit for that combined one. I would love credit for it. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Nope. Okay.
But that takes away all the parking. It makes more traffic. I think people are getting antsy, to be honest with you. For some reason in New York, we've decided, and New Jersey, they're starting to close things down at 10 p.m. I didn't realize that COVID was a night owl like I am.
Yes. The New York City government has decided 10 p.m. is the cutoff time for restaurants and gyms in those places because, of course, everyone knows once 10 o'clock hits, that's when COVID is really dangerous. Before 10, fine. But 10 o'clock...
Do you remember those alerts that's like, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah, now
it's going to change. It's the motherfucking remix. It's going to be like, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your COVID are?
Stop. It's the motherfucking remix. Well, here's the thing.
Wow,
nope.
How are you, Jarod? Remix.
Oh, see, folks, you're getting this little theme happening here. Remix is the theme of the day. First, before I get into how I'm doing, I want to follow up with that. First of all, we hope it's not 10 o'clock. Do you know where your COVID is? I hope nobody is saying that, right? Like, I mean, clearly people are saying that because cases are rising and people are getting them. But I hope that nobody in the K&S community and their loved ones, I hope none of us are saying where our COVID is because we don't want that. Not a good look.
I agree with you on that. Your girl is negative. I get tested regularly because I am...
a responsible
sometimes
human.
Out in these streets, as you know. I know you ask me this every week. I think it's more to check in on me, to be like, but you don't want to ask it. Hey, Gab, are you safe in these streets? Yeah, I am. I wear protection every time I go out, Take that as you'd like.
We're going to move right along. But no, yes, loving the mask. Looks great. No, same here. Always. Well, first of all, I don't really go anywhere. Keep myself in check. So got no problem with that. But also, yes, being mindful that things are happening and cases are rising and it's a reality that we're in right now. And we're going to talk about the holidays later on. But people look, I said this last week. This is my favorite time of the year coming up right now. My birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all. As much as I would love to be around friends and family and doing the usual stuff, nah, fam. Because here's what I want. I want to be able to do that continuously going forward into my life. So you got to be able to make sacrifices, people. And, we're not asking that much. Anyway, how am I doing? Doing pretty well. Otherwise, I'm on some deadlines right now. We got year-end pieces are wrapping up. That's how it works in the media game, people. Those lovely year-end lists and things you see. What do you think? Somebody comes up with them like December 20th? Nah. You're working on that stuff for a while, right? So
yeah, holiday in July is the thing, Jarod. I mean, really is. That's when people like me start reaching out to people like you.
Yes.
I say that publicist versus
Yes,
journalist.
correct.
Not female versus male, or however you want to take that statement. For those who don't know what we do outside
People like
of this
me
show.
and people like you. You know, someone could have taken that very differently.
That's what I'm saying. Jewish, maybe? I don't know. I'm Jewish, for those who don't know.
Jewish and Gentile, yes, could have taken it that way.
Yeah, mostly more emphasis on the ish, but there we are.
But yeah, so we're working on some deadlines, and also the NBA draft is next week. So I had some pre-draft stuff that I was working on as well, talking to some players, young hopefuls who were excited about realizing their dreams. Which is, I will say, it's always lovely to talk to the draft hopefuls because they get such a bounce in their stuff, and they're so excited about potentially their dreams being realized, right? Like, and the ones that do get drafted, I mean, how lucky are you? Like, I mean. People, again, I don't know that you all realize this. Like, there are 450 players in the NBA. 450, that's it. Every year, 60 players get 60, that's it. And by the way, of those 60, all of them ain't even gonna make it, right? Yep. Like, so it's quite a thing to be in that elite exclusive club. So they're all young and super excited. I gotta actually tell you this funny story. So we had Jemias Ramsey from Texas Tech. He's a freshman, 19, and we were talking to him, and he was like, we were asking what kind of music he's listening to, and like DaBaby, and like all this, that's heavy into his rotation right now. He's like, well, what kind of music do y'all listen to? And I was like, Jemias, I'm going to explain something to you right now. I'm 42. My boy Henry over here is 47. Like, there's a certain stage in your life where, as you get older, you stop being able to take in new music, right? So we were going through what was most recent in our phones. And Henry's like, some Stevie Wonder. And you should have seen Jemias Ramsey's face. He bugged his eyes out as though Stevie Wonder was like some relic from like the 1500s. It was just like, what? And it's like, my dude, like what? And then I'm kind of putting Jemias on blast a little bit. We talked about the Fugees, and he's like, who? Never heard of them. And I was like, oh, God. I was like, oh, my God. I almost ended the interview right there. I was like, all right, my dude.
I would have started playing it on my phone. Fugees, so much has been sampled for modern music. Like,
so much.
Case of the Axe from Lauryn Hill, Drake. That's like half of the chorus. I mean, like, come on. It's not even, it's used as a beat, even though it's her vocals. Like,
Gabby, I was like, my dude, you are repped. You are repped by Rock Nation. So what I hope Rock Nation does for you is give you a musical education on, and I'm not even talking about like, because I said to him when I'm like really working and I'm doing stuff, I get into like 80s and 90s. Again, his eyes, whoa, 80s and 90s. And I'm like, well, of course. Kid was born in the 2000s. The hell does he know about the 80s and 90s?
I don't know. I mean, I think Biggie still slaps. You know what I mean? Me personally. I love Biggie.
As the kids say, still slaps.
As the kids say. So I actually, something that was really fun for me this week in these streets is I spoke at a virtual career day to inspire the youth of America. Shocking to most people. I know that something I could say is maybe inspiring, but, I've had a unique path between the beauty industry, PR, sports. I do some cool things every once in a while, and if there's any way I can pay it forward and teach the young generations, sure, let me do what I can. Like, I talk about the importance of sports, that winning isn't everything. I think that's a life lesson that's great that you learn from both team and individual sports. And then the kids asked some great questions, including who were my favorite rappers. And let me tell you, that was an interesting one. So I said Biggie and Eminem are like my OGs.
And they probably were like, who?
No. Those are big enough that they knew who they were. But this was my favorite part when they said who was my favorite current rapper, and I said J. Cole, and one of the kids turns off his mute and goes, "Who the hell is Jake Hall?" And I was like, J. Cole.
You're like,
J.
Oh God.
Period Cole. Sponsored Puma athlete. Hopefully he makes it in the NBA.
I mean, he won't, but
don't come at me like I'm some old lady just because I am not in middle school kids now. It was actually a great moment. It made me laugh a little bit, and I was like, "No, Grandma Gabby's got it a little bit more than you think."
But it is funny though, Gabby, right? Like, and of course, with what I do when I talk to NBA, I remember the first time I talked to Jaren Jackson Jr., the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out to Triple J, his rookie year, and I remember just rapping the combo and being like, this dude is he is young. Like it hits you when you say things and they just don't know what. I mean, they know it from like oh, I get that. Like one time we were doing an interview with him, and I said top 5 players in the NBA of all time, and he goes, "All right, you talking about now or like old guys like Kareem and them?" And I was like, I mean, yes, Kareem is an older gentleman, but it's like my dude. But even to him, like guys like Jordan are old, right? Like that's old to him because
I know, it's
he's
just so
20
weird.
years old. Right? So, I mean, that would make sense. So I say all that to say, Gabs, we are maturing like fine wines. I don't want to say getting older. I mean, even though we are maturing like fine wines.
I celebrate my 21st birthday every year. I'm like a fine stag's leap right now, upgrading to like a cake bread,
How many 21s is this?
Crystal.
How many 21s are we at now?
No, that was not a technical difficulty. Never ask a lady how old she is.
I mean, I already know. I'm just trying to see if you're gonna let the fans know.
Maybe we should take a poll. I don't know. You guys guess. We'll send you.
Guess how many 21st birthdays our lovely Gabby Rosendahl is celebrating.
I feel like this is like guess the amount of candy corns in the jar. That's what this question is like.
Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot of candy corn.
I was gonna say sneakers behind me or my age. Which is the bigger number? Let's go with that.
Oh, folks, we are having too much fun. Well, stay tuned because Gabby and I are going to talk about a special anniversary that is coming up, or that's actually here. It's a celebration. So stay tuned. Peace. What's up, guys? We are back. So, Gabby, I just said that it is a special anniversary. One of our favorite brands, the Jordan brand, shouts to them.
Oh, so it's not us. We're not celebrating an anniversary.
Well, you and I. Oh my God! Let's listen.
We're not there yet.
You are now going to get
situationship.
You are now going to get certain segments of our audience alarmed. So let's.
Don't be alarmed, y'all. We're friends. Friends can have anniversaries and celebrations too.
Well, moving on. One of our favorite brands, the Jordan brand, is celebrating 25 years of the Air Jordan 11. And Gabby, we talk about this all the time. Of course, the Jordan brand is so iconic. But when we talk about silhouettes, the 11 for even if, and people always say this, I'm not really a sneakerhead. I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter what you want to define yourself. Anyone who likes Jordans, the 11 is for sure in their top 3 favorite silhouettes.
I agree. I think people who just are like, they recognize it from the Space Jam movie that most people in our age range have seen, except for Jarod.
Well, see, again, we're going to define this again. People in your age range, when this came out,
I take it as a compliment. It's because you're so young and beautiful, okay?
You were still a child when it came out. I took myself way too seriously as an 18-year-old. Like, I'm not watching this movie.
Yeah,
anyway.
But it was the first movie I watched on quarantine when I was like, there's no sports.
I want to watch Space Jam.
Screaming at the Monstars, being like, that's a foul.
But the 11, right, is such an iconic shoe. People love it. Of course, as you all know, the original 11, that is the first shoe that Michael Jordan wore when he returned after his first retirement in 1995 with the Chicago Bulls. And yes, it is that classic white with the black patent leather that we all know and love. And it has pop culture relevance as well, right? Boyz II Men wore it on the Grammys with their suits, with their tuxedos, right? And people were like, yo, look at that, right? So it has so many elements that matter to people. And, Jordan brand will never miss an opportunity to definitely showcase the legacy of that shoe. And they're doing something special with it this year as they release 2 different versions of the 11, the Jubilee and the Adapt. And I'd want to just say before we get into speaking about the shoes, and you guys will see the images here, as you know, the Air Jordans from the 3s to the 15s and various other versions after that, including some Air Maxes and some trainers, were all designed by the legendary Tinker Hatfield. And, Tinker's the god designer, right? I mean, we all love Tinker. Shout out to Tara, who was a guest on one of our earlier episodes, who has outstanding video of Tinker getting down at a Drake concert. Like, I mean, it's good stuff. And you guys check out Tara's. If you go back to her Instagram feed, I think you can find it. I think it's still up there. It's brilliant.
I think it's in there. I just want to clarify for the kids that are watching our show, Boyz II Men was a 90s R&B group. They were iconic.
That's right.
Since we're talking, since we're aging ourselves out of our audience, I want to clarify that. Boyz II Men,
I was like, based on what we talked about earlier, you're like, why am I assuming people would know what we're talking about? Well played, Gabby. Who would know? Yes.
You know what they say about assuming, Jarod.
Correct. Boys to Men. I mean, Gabby, tell me the first time that someone made you a mixtape with a Boys to Men song on it.
I mean, I made one for myself first. This is my point, Jarod. I listen to When Water Runs Dry by myself all the time. Like, I don't know.
It's a lovely song.
I had to rely on personality a lot when I was that age, so I'm a late bloomer, as some people would say. Okay.
You know what? I will make you a Spotify mix, and perhaps we'll put some Boyz II Men on there. How about that?
Only if you put on Luther Vandross, I am in.
Oh, Luther's definitely going to be on there. But anyway, getting back to away from smooth R&B jams, back into the sneakers. So so the Air Jordan 11 Jubilee, right? And again, it's based off the original that came out in '95. But this one's a little bit different, right? Because on the back, it's got a metallic silver, so actual metal Jumpman logo, which it's awesome to me. When I look at that shoe, I'm super excited by that metal logo, and the Jordan on the eyelets are also metal. Mm-hmm. The heel's going to have an embroidered silver 23 and a printed 25 on the insoles, obviously to celebrate the 25-year anniversary. And the tongue will have the special stitch Jumpman and Jordan tags. I really like this shoe a lot. It's all black, which is a little different from me. I do have some all black shoes, but because you know me, I like solids, but like a lot of my shoes are white base. But I do love this shoe, and it is for me, we were on a radio show recently, and I talked about like what the aesthetic was, right? And I said if I was wearing a black suit, white shirt, no tie, and Jordan 11 lows, right, like the Concords, I would wear the Jordan 11 Adapt with that same black suit, right?
Wait, the Adapt or the Jubilee?
Excuse me, the Jubilee. I was
going to say, now you just blew my mind.
I meant the Jubilee.
We're not even there yet.
That solid black Jubilee, because that to me is if I want to go formal, I can go formal with that, right? I would feel good going to someone's formal wedding with those shoes on. Do you agree?
That's what I always say about the 11s in general. Like, I call my Space Jams my dress sneakers. I've worn them on the field before with dressier outfits, like in pre-COVID life. Like, those are dressier sneakers. I mean, I think they're a great silhouette. I think for me, I love the detailing. I loved when Jordan Brand did the chrome Jumpman logo on the cool gray 4s. Like, for me, that was a selling feature, selling factor. And I think that it's nice to see them doing that again. It gives a little bit of like homage in an elevated way for a classic style. Mm-hmm. You guys know me. I don't necessarily try to get every pair of sneakers that they look too much alike, especially when I'm on a budget. I think for me, and we'll talk about these in a second, I really like the white pair. The Adapt. I think those are really cool. They're a little bit different. I know you guys are like, has Gabby ever talked about liking white sneakers aside from Superstars? Ever. But, I think that Jordan Brand did a really nice job with the Jubilees, and the surprise drop for the members only. Super dope. Hope those, at least some people we know, got their hands on it. We know it's stuff out there in these streets, but Tinker is the sneaker, as Jarod likes to say, God. Surprised he didn't do it this time. Waiting for it. I was ready. Like, there was no there was no God. The sneaker God. So we see a lot of interesting things, homages to Tinker, and we'll talk more about this later in the episode. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to cop these?
So here's the thing, right? Like, so as you mentioned, for the members only, it dropped in the sneakers app this week, and the retail price is $220. So they are on the pricier end of sneakers, but around what Jordan would charge for sneakers like this. I saw it. I didn't even. I was like, okay, it's there, but I didn't even bother. It will release to everyone on December 12th in all sizes. Honestly, maybe I might try. I'll think about it as a gift to myself, maybe for like Christmas or something. I think I may consider that. But it's going to have its run, right? Where like it's going to be really tough to get. I'm going to have to be like Gabby, like sending out smoke signals, getting 75 devices working, or I might have to just reach out and touch someone and see if I can get it that way. But
what do you mean you're going to touch someone, Jarod? Why? We are a respectful show.
No,
don't be touching people to get shoes.
No, I meant a sneaker plug.
I'm just messing with you. I'm surprised though. You talk these up a lot, and now you're a maybe.
No, it's not a maybe. It's more so like, okay, if you try to go the traditional way, it's rolling the dice, right? Am I going to get lucky enough to hit in when
what are you going for, though? That is my question.
Yeah,
are you
yes.
going to make a play for it, whether you get them or not?
Yes,
I'm something that you're going to try to get.
I'm going to make a play. Yes, I will make a play for these. Yes, I misunderstood your question. I apologize. Yes, I will. I will make a play, whether or not it happens, and then the question will then become: if it doesn't work that way, will I reach out and touch someone and try to go through other means? That's the. Well, because then if you do
I feel
that,
like you're going to be touching someone, Jarod.
well, because then if you do that, it's then do I want to pay a markup? Because right, I mean, yeah, that's you have to. You gotta.
That's the current state of this industry, of course.
Yes. If the plug is helping you out, you got to help them out, right? You got to pay, more than you would. So we'll see. But it's a lovely shoe. The solid black. It's just, again, I think it's because black goes with everything. You can do a lot with it, but I love it as a dress up for me. Like, I don't know that I would do a lot of like cozy fam with it, even though you could. I don't know that I would go casual with that shoe at all. I would go total like, all right, we're going out, formal wear? Yeah, I'm hitting.
I love that you called it a lovely shoe. That definitely was not in the press release, that's for sure. But I'm here for it. Speaking of lovely shoes, I think that the Adapts, the 11s, I think it's really interesting that Jordan Brand released the imagery of the two pairs together, because at first glance, it looks like a remix of the Jubilees. Like, is there a pair that's black, a pair that's white? Once you dive in more to the messaging that Jordan Brand has put out on all the sneaker sites, it's very different. And, Nike first debuted this self-lacing technology back in 2016 with a model that was around $720 a pair. I mean, whew,
I'll tell you what, I ain't going after nothing that's in that range. So no.
But I do like these, and I think it's interesting that this is the silhouette that they picked, and shouts to Nike and Jordan Brand for being innovators in the adaptive clothing and footwear market. I mean, that's a need that is a lot bigger than I think any brand really talks about outwardly. So it's super cool that they're doing that. And you know me, I don't normally like white sneakers, but I love the way that they have the pops of color here. I think these are great. And I mean, not that $500 is cheap, but it is a lot less expensive than the initial Adapt technology, the Hyper Adapt 1.0. And it's also in more of an iconic style. The materials are really nice. So, and with Jordan Brand, especially like with the Jubilees, they can get away with charging $220 versus the standard $180 because they have the chrome details, because they have the patent leather, because they have those extra elements that really elevate a classic. And I think they did a great job with this here. I'm here for it. And, if
and you mentioned
Christmas comes early, we'll see. I don't know. And might have to make a play.
And also, they're not going to re-release that because it's just a 25, right? Like, they may do one in like a 40th year, but it won't be those, right? Because this one is specifically for the 25th anniversary. So that is also probably why they're able to do the extra $40 charge. Look, I think the Adapts are awesome. Like the white patent leather around, kind of nice. The pops of color. The only thing for me is, I think just because, again, dating myself, being an old man, the Adapt technology to me, like that's what, like, I'm like, all right, like I don't want something lacing up my shoes. Like, you know what I mean? That for me is where I'm like, nah, I don't need that piece of it. But I love the technology because we've seen it and we've been up close and gotten to see the Adapt technology, and it's even better now than when it first came out. It's awesome. A lot of the players really like it as well for their shoes. But it's just me personally, I don't know. Like, I like to lace mine the way I like them. And, I don't necessarily want like, the constrictions of how the technology does it. But that's just me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are also going to go for these in terms of being a collectible. I think that's part of it also. Like, who knows who's going to flex them. I mean, I think they're really cool, but I also have tiny feet. So a few guys that I've talked to, a few of my friends are like, I'm not into the white sneaker anyway, because they're just going to look big and bulky. And, Jordan Brand has done some similar releases in years past, but I think for this one, I think it's cute. I'm a big fan.
No, it's awesome.
But speaking of anniversaries, an anniversary that kind of flew under the radar is the Air Jordan 5, the 30-year anniversary of the Air Jordan 5s that come out in a couple weeks. And I think those are really interesting. I mean, the theme of today's episode is...
Stop.
Well, we have a couple themes. But
it's the motherfucking remix.
Yeah, that's the main theme, even though it's just the two of us. So anyway, the reason I mentioned that is because there's been a trend in recent, especially this year with the SpongeBobs, the Kyries, you know, of taking one sneaker and pairing it with another. I mean, Jordan kind of started that when they did the top threes in the Air Jordan 1s and have translated that kind of model to other colorways. They're not as blatant as this one. I think these are really interesting because, you know, they mix a lot of materials. They take an homage to some of the non-OG colorways, you know, and I think these are pretty cool. They did a quick early drop on some of these too, but just 'cause I've seen people getting their hands on them already. But I want to know your thoughts, Jay.
So the opposite shoe colorway for me, you know me, I get like, that stuff gets me nervous, right? Like once I see that, like all of a sudden I start to like recoil, not because I don't think it looks good. It's just like my brain does like a short circuit, like it's not matching. Like I start like freaking out in that way. But I will say these fives are really nice. And you know, it's funny, we didn't mention the five as like popular silhouettes in terms of like people say, but here's why I like the five, at least is what I see when I think of Jordan Brand. They're often willing to try different things for whatever reason with the five. And I don't know what that's about. Is it maybe because the silhouette lends itself to that? I don't know. But the oversized tongue, maybe? All those different things that they do with the five, I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. I will say, if I were to do the what does, that would be strictly like, all right, if I want to like, you know, I got some like really like new like funky streetwear hoodie that I want to show off, and like, okay, I would do it with that kind of outfit. And they might, for me, ultimately, so I would wear it in that sense, but you know, they might become like a decorative piece, like a dead stock, right? And I'd use the clear drop top front drop box and have them show that way, just because they're kind of neat. So that's what I would think initially off the top of my head with those fives.
Okay, I like that. I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I'm a Virgo, my OCD, like, it's real. I live in a world of organized chaos, so one would think
I can attest to that.
These, but I mean, even when the top threes came out, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. They're different. Do I have different laces? It's like my brain goes into like must not compute, like whatever short circuit as well. But I think these are really cool, and I like I love the why. Yes. I always want to know why with everything. With everything. with everything. But I like the why behind these. You know, it reminds me of like, it's like ketchup and mustard. Bert and Ernie. You know?
Wait. So is Ernie's Bert's the mustard, Ernie's the ketchup?
Big Bert at elbow. I'm retired for the day. I think that's the end of this.
That's segment. It. You're done. But what do you think though about Jordan Brand using the five silhouette specifically as one they're willing to try out? Like their whole golf line they did for the Masters. The five was the centerpiece of that one. Like it's like that silhouette for some reason is such we can try some funky stuff with this one. And I think it's because of the way the silhouette is, right? With, again, the oversized tongue and just the way that the entire base model is, there's room for you to do stuff with it because it's I don't want to say big shoe, but the canvas has a lot of area for you to do stuff.
There's a lot of canvas to play with. And, you know, there's such large color blocks that shoe lends itself more to that. I think it'd be interesting if, you know, they ever came out in crazy patterns with it. I think it might be overkill, you know, and so I like the homage. I mean, the Olympic fives are one of my favorite pairs that I've busted out recently that I haven't worn in a while. And I think those are dope. Like, you know me, I don't usually rock all white sneakers, but that gold tongue, the oversized gold tongue for me, one of my favorite pairs.
Matter of fact, I saw you rock it recently for something that maybe our audience will see at some point soon. But folks, stay tuned. We're going to wrap with something very interesting, another connection to the sneaker design god, Tinker Hatfield. I'm just going to leave it right there. So stay tuned. What's good, y'all? So as we wrap our show, we're going to talk about something really interesting here. So the Air Maxes, most people don't know, Tinker Hatfield, again, sneaker design god. He was the creative brains behind that shoe as well. So the Air Max 90s, that is, I mean, you know, that's a classic shoe, right? So moving away from Jordans, like that's a silhouette that sneakerheads love, and even again non-sneakerheads. That the Air Max 90s that's just the vibe. And the original Air Max 90 infrareds are classic, iconic. People know them, they love them. Remix. We talked about this. Stop. It's the motherfucking remix, right? So nope. not like that. They, Nike just is releasing and did release actually a remixed version of the original. And Gabby has some thoughts. Well, first of all, I'm putting her business out in the streets. She ordered the originals. I mean, sorry, not the originals, the remix. She already has the originals. She wants to do a legit face up in front, side by side comparison to be like, let me see what's happening with these remixes.
You know I mean business when I have one big mouth like this. I was like, I'm going to let you finish. But so I want to clarify that for our listeners and our viewers out there, because Nike did something really interesting to me, I think, with the Air Max 90s. They re-released the classic OG infrared in its original colorway, but they also did a remix where the detailing on the white is actually black. It's like a deep gray black color. So it's like a yin and yang kind of take on it. Obviously the remix pair flew a little bit more under the radar because OG colorways always get the most conversation. But your girl actually finally took a W on Sneakers app.
What? A W?
Shocked. But, it happened. I logged on late one night and I caught a restock on the OG colorway. And I was like, you know what? I looked around a little bit. I was like, is this too good to be true? Should I try it? Should I see what happens?
It was like you're in line, and then it was like, what?
There was no line. It was also legit at 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, why are all sizes available? Clearly it was a restock, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Folks,
hey,
by the way, notice she was up at 2 a.m. buying sneakers on Sneakers app. Just gonna put that out there.
I'm a night owl, Jarod is a morning person. It's better that I was buying sneakers at 2 a.m. than doing other things at 2 a.m. So do not judge me based on my evening activities, okay?
2 a.m. I wonder. Oh, never mind. Anyway, continue.
And next time on our Cocktails with Jarod and Gabby, the late night episode.
Next time on Kicks and Shit After Dark. Anyway, continue.
Like that. We might have to explore this, Jarod. Anyway.
Okay.
Back to business. I think the Air Max 90s are very interesting because originally they were known as the Air Max 3. And as the Air Max brand has evolved, the name has changed. So it's funny because when you looked on Sneakers app, the adult sizes were listed as Air Max 3, and the big kids and kid sizes were listed as Air Max 90. So for those that weren't sure on the differentiation, same pair, just a little remix on the name.
Remember they did the infrareds, but then they have ones in there called the radiant reds, right? And so, if you're like, if you do any work on like Adobe or any of these kind of products and you have like the colors, right? And they have like the numbers that match whatever blue is like 277, whatever. I don't know, the color numbers.
Yeah,
exactly. Radiant red, right? Slightly different than infrared. But, just putting that out there so people are aware when they're looking and like, oh, I'm going to get, nah, those aren't the same ones. These are the radiant reds, not the infrareds. But just, for our sneaker peeps out there.
Well, that's very appreciated. That's a really good point, too, is that, with so many colorways that release, they're, to the average person, it might just look like, oh, they're all royal blue. No, some are royal, some are cobalt, some are cerulean, some are sport blue.
Cerulean. I knew you were gonna say
one of my favorite words in the English language
is cerulean.
Cerulean. A beautiful word, a beautiful color, just soothing to say. Let's all try it out now, Jarod. All right, ready? Let's say it together.
Cerulean.
Cerulean.
Wait,
Today's episode has been brought to you by the color cerulean and the number 25 for Air Jordan 11 25.
By the way, do you see how we just connected that all to like Sesame Street and things we did as a kid, right? Today's episode is sponsored by the color blue and the number 7. Was that Sesame Street or was that Conjunction Junction? I don't know. It's one of those PBS
no, that was
shows.
Sesame Street. We could have this episode pretend sponsored by the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion since we're talking about what's old is new and what's new is old. We didn't get to talk about it in the intro, and I know you look like a kid on Christmas morning right now. I hope for you guys listening, check out like around minute 35 of the segment so you can see Jarod's face.
Well, it's funny that we're tying it to sneakers because Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, of course, right? Will Smith on that show had so many iconic Jordans, the AJ5s, right? Like, which actually this summer the Fresh Prince pair got released that everybody knows about. So, anyway, original versus remix, right? That's the focus of or the theme of today's show. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion special. The trailer was released, HBO Max. So, rest in peace. Uncle Phil will not be joining us. James Avery passed away. But when they were doing everything. So we saw Daphne Maxwell Reid, who was the second iteration, the remix, if you will, of Aunt Viv. All of a sudden, as they're fading out, you see the camera cuts to Will Smith, and he's like, I couldn't have the Fresh Prince reunion. And let me just tell you, I didn't even wait. I was like, what? Original?
I'm sorry, you were like, what?
I'm not doing that again. Original Aunt Viv. And I was like, yo! Because, there was some, let's just say, friction there when she was booted off the show or why she left. And clearly fences have been mended and olive branches were stuck out and taken and all that. But that's an iconic show. And I'm so happy and I can't wait to see this reunion special. Everyone's going to just be together, just reminiscing on all the good times. And again, original Aunt Viv and the remix. So super excited about that.
Yes, you are. I also am very excited, and I think it's interesting. Like, if things happen, own it. We're all about being authentic on the show. So shouts to Fresh Prince, having both Aunt Vivs. It's like a what the Aunt Viv anniversary special.
Yeah, and it was so crazy because because you're watching like the trailer lasts like however many seconds it does. So 2 seconds left, you're like, all right, it's about to fade to black and whatever, and we'll just catch it when it comes out. And then again, and I was like, oh. Like, I was just like, yo! Original Aunt Viv. Again, shouts to the actress Janet Hubert, who played the original Aunt Viv, and Daphne Maxwell Reid, who was the remix. And again, everybody else will be there. Carlton, Ashley, Hillary, the real actors. Alfonso, Karen, and Tatiana, but and Jeffrey. I mean,
we cannot forget about Jeffrey. Jeffrey's a legend. Legend.
I love how he was like their employee, but literally told them off at every turn.
All the time, yeah.
At every turn.
100% agree.
Oh my God. Well, it's going to be fun, and I just thought that was a nice connection to sneakers because we know Will Smith and those funky J's that he'd always be rocking.
And we're talking about fives and remixes. What's old is new again, and look at us making themes for episodes and shit.
And folks, as I mentioned, Gabby did order those Air Maxes, so we're gonna do a special unboxing like we did for our AJ35s a few weeks back. That was really popular. So we hope you guys check that out. You know where to find us on all of our platforms. Special unboxing for those special Air Max 90s. I'm actually looking forward to that. And I want to see them up close to your originals and just do a little.
We're going to see both. It's going to be a motherfucking remix.
Today's episode brought to you by the Mother Remix. Okay. Wow.
The radio edit. That's
the
always my favorite when they say
the radio edit.
Radio edit. For those who know, if you know, you know.
If you know your kids, if you know about the radio edits, you know. Anyway, guys, you know where to find us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud. We are everywhere, of course, all over social media at Kicks and Shit Show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're even on TikTok. We got, what do you think? We should do a TikTok video?
All right. Well, don't gas us up like that. We're going to save the TikTok conversation maybe to our 30th episode, all right?
Should we do a TikTok video, though? The people maybe want to see us. Well, because you had said that
I can barely get you to take a damn photo, Jarod. Do you want to do TikToks now? Okay. Let's talk about it. Do you guys want to see Jarod in a
Oh,
TikTok?
damn. I just opened up Pandora's box. We're in trouble now.
Giddy up, Jarod. Giddy up.
We are in trouble now. Anyway, folks, thanks for rocking with us. We'll see you next time. Peace.